They're human beings, personalities. They have a job to do. And one of the things that I think that there are certainly many kinds of recruiters. There are recruiters that work for companies. There are recruiters who work for recruiting companies who look for people to then give back to a client. And there are certainly recruiters who work for search firms. And those are very different from recruiters who work for contingency firms. But everybody that is a recruiter has a job to do. They have a task to find the right people for the organization that they're working with, whether it is their own organization that they are an employee of, whether they are a contract recruiter, which many recruiters are these days. I don't know if you're aware of that, but many of them are just people that are hired on contract to help a company get out of a really big hiring situation. Not only do they have a job to do, but they're pulled in many directions, especially the ones that work for companies. I started my career in HR as a recruiter, and many people do start as recruiters because recruiters get to know the company. They work for all kinds of departments and all kinds of jobs. So it's a great entree into an organization. But if you're a recruiter for a company, like as Greg said, I worked for Marriott for many years, and we did lots of kinds of recruiting. We did, if you're opening a new hotel, for example, you may have to hire 1,000 people in a 3-month time period. And so that kind of recruiting job is very different from a recruiter who works for a company and has maybe a few job recs that they are trying to fill. But if they're working for a company, they're probably pulled in many different directions. They're not just working on the job that you are applying for. And I want to make this really clear. I was telling Greg beforehand that a couple of years ago, I did a presentation for a recruiting company, and people were just baffled. They thought that the recruiter that they were working with was just working with them, that they couldn't figure out why the recruiter wasn't calling them back instantaneously or emailing them or whatever. Recruiters, and I'm going to go into some detail in a moment, but they're pulled in many directions. They need to please a lot of people. And here's one that I'm sorry to tell you that sometimes recruiters don't have all the information that they need. Have you ever been working with a recruiter and asked them a question and they don't know the answer to it? Happens probably more often than it should. They may be a new recruiter, they may be new to the organization, and so they just don't have everything that they need at their hand. I wish I could tell you that there are all talented recruiters, that they're all wonderful, that you're going to get A1 experience with each one of them. Because recruiters are people too, so there are good ones and there are the ones that are less than so good. But I would just give this little reminder to be kind to them, because first of all, they've got some power. You may not think that they do, but I hear, many, many times I'm talking to people who are looking for jobs. They'll say, well, I'm just talking to the recruiter. I'm just talking to the recruiter. As if that is not really important. Think about it. You're not going to talk to anybody else if you don't get past the recruiter. So take that, I'm just talking to a recruiter, out of your vocabulary, and know that the recruiter that you're talking to has some power over where you go next in the process. Be kind to them, treat them well. I think they'll treat you well, hopefully.